Ladies and gentlemen, you've seen the highlights, you've heard the rumors, but now it's time to get the real scoop. We pull back the curtain on the world of sports entertainment and give you the unfiltered truth. From the biggest pay-per-views to the latest shocking headlines, you're locked in for the ultimate wrestling discussion. This is Between the Ropes, only on the Empty the Bench Network. Now, here's your host, Kristie Wilson.
Everybody, welcome to a brand new episode of Between the Ropes here on the Empty the Bench Podcast Network. I'm your host. My name is Kristie Wilson. Yeah, he's not the only one who's the best in the world. I'm just kidding. But first I gotta say hi to someone. He left a comment. Hi Xander. How are you? Hope you enjoyed the show today. Now, let's take care of some business here. The fabulous ticker. There you go. You get BTR, ETB, follow me. You get to the other good stuff. Of course, follow Between the Ropes on all social media platforms at BTRETB. And then, of course, here's the big one. Of course, you want more awesome ETB content, go to youtube.com/ETB network. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Such a lot of good content going on. If you're into March Madness, noteworthy in NCAA, of course, Nick Morgeson, Callum McClurg did a post March Madness post show called Emptying the Bracket, and hopefully we'll get more of those episodes as March Madness continues with the tournament and all that other good stuff. And of course, coming up at 6 Eastern for Mountain Standard Time, of course, join Grant, Michael, and Ben for Gridiron Gurus. Good NFL news coming up. So let's get into the show, shall we? Last week, AEW Revolution happened. And some things were pretty crazy. I will say one thing I did get right, and I had been hoping for this, was the return of Will Ospreay. And yes, it looks like his first feud coming back is going to be with the Death Riders, in particular Jon Moxley, the current Continental Champion. Is that a title he's going to go after? I don't honestly know. But I have continuously said this, that I think Ospreay's ultimate goal is the AEW World Title. And if Maxwell Jacob Friedman is still holding that by the time All In happens in London, August 30th, then that's what we're going to get. That is most likely going to be your main event, and the result is going to be Max is going to get his ass handed to him, and Ospreay's going to take that championship. So right now, Will looks good, and I'm glad he's back. I'm very glad he's back. Other big one, this is where this is where my next topic is tied into this. Toni Storm versus Marina Shafir, no title on the line, everything like that. Toni Storm wins, and ironically, someone decided to show up, but I'll get to her next. Got all kinds of Tekla beat Chris Statlander in the 2 out of 3 falls match. She's still your AEW Women's Championship, and with Mercedes Moné currently losing titles. She just lost one. I think it's Denmark or something like that. I don't know. It's a possibility Tekla could be who Mercedes faces for the title. I mean, I have no idea. I mean, it is fun to watch everything happen. And of course, Hangman and Page, MJF, world title. Texas Death Match. Hangman almost got, I guess you could say, hung with a chain. So what he used to defeat Mox it all in, and Max used to defeat him. If I were Maxwell Jacob Friedman, I would not get comfortable. I would be very uncomfortable, because you still have people coming after you, including someone who I think would like to kick your ass, but Don Callis is preventing him from really doing so because Max is doing business with him, and that's Andrade. You still have Swerve still lurking around. You still have Kenny Omega. I think Brody King's going to try and hunt Max down and all that other stuff. I mean, there's so much going on. New Trios champions, Kevin the Jet Knight, Speedball Mike Bailey, along with Mystico. Mystico stepping in for Hangman. They are your Trios champions. FTR still retain the tag team titles, but it looks like a dynasty. We're going to get FTR versus someone else two other individuals ended up returning, and that is the Rated R Superstar. Call him by his actual name, Adam Copeland, or you can call him by the name a lot of us wrestling fans have known him as for years, and that's Edge and Christian Cage. So we're going to get what people have been predicting for a while is Edge and Christian versus FTR Dynasty. That's later on. And it was a crazy, overall crazy show. My Wrestler of the Week factors into this too, and I'll get to him later. But I'm going to get to what I mentioned before, the Toni Storm Marina Shafir match. It ended with Toni winning. She's celebrating at the top of the ramp, being her overly dramatic self. And this woman showed up, Ronda Rousey. I know Ronda has been in the public eye lately, especially because of her fight with Gina Carano coming up in May. I think it's May 16th. And yeah, it's May 16th or 17th. Yeah, May 16th. And shout out to Tom Albano for revealing this little bit of information. AEW's Double or Nothing is 8 days after Ronda Rousey fights Gina Carano on Netflix. Yeah, that's going to happen. Right now, that whole thing, and that's for the MMA outsiders to talk about the whole Ronda versus Carano fight happening. That's more their territory, so I'm not going to step on anything. And even the reaction, however, I'm going to get to the reaction Ronda got. She got booed. Nobody wanted her there. They're like, we didn't pay our hard-earned money to see this bitch show up in the ring. And I totally agree. I was not happy that she was there. I was actually confused. I thought, is this a publicity stunt? Is she trying to drum up more publicity for her fight against Gina Carano? I don't know. But she seemed to want to go after Toni Storm. And if you're wondering about Dynamite this past Wednesday, who do you think attacked Toni Storm? Do you think it was Ronda? I know Ronda has been friends with Marina Shafir, real life friends with her for years, like long time since their MMA days before each went into wrestling. And I don't know if Marina Shafir pulled any strings, managed to talk to Tony Khan saying, hey, why don't you let Ronda make an appearance? She's got a fight coming up against Gina Carano. I don't know. This has been a widely criticized decision. There are people out there going, my God, did Tony Khan sign Ronda Rousey? I hope not, because Ronda is not good. People have not forgotten all the shit that she has said about wrestling, the negative comments she has made. And even if she said, I'm sorry for being a bitch, she's not sorry for anything. She was just sorry she got caught saying this shit. So Ronda's not sorry for anything. And what if she gets into the ring, the wrestling ring, and gets her ass handed to her again? She's going to disappear and whine. Oh, Universe. Hi. How are you? You want to give me the scoop? Okay, give me this. Okay, give me the scoop. Universal. Give me the scoop here, buddy. But I'm going to get back to Ronda. Like I said, wrestling fans have not forgotten all the shit that she has said, all the trash she's talked. They don't forget this stuff. They might not pay attention to certain individuals saying certain things, but we haven't forgotten. I mentioned Marina and Ronda are good friends, and they've been friends for years. They were part of the 4 horsewomen of MMA, those two plus Shayna Baszler and Jessamine Duke. So I've been well aware of that. So Universal, and thank you for mentioning that. But Ronda, this widely criticized decision, I don't think Tony Khan addressed this at the post-show press conference or media scrum. I'm just going to call it a post-show press conference. It doesn't matter. I just feel this just, I'm going to say it again, not exactly a smart move, even if Marina Shafir went to Tony Khan's office and begged and pleaded, said, please let me have one of my absolute closest friends come here. Okay. Mercedes Moné's leaving AEW. I'm not sure about that, Universal. I'm not sure at all. I think the whole storyline with her was she was going to lose all the championships she currently is holding. She's down to 3 right now to go after the AEW Women's World Title. What else? Moné's contract ends on May 26th. Okay. I don't know. No, I think I heard it was a 2-year contract. Like 1 year she was going to be TBS champion, and then she was going to do her thing and then come back with no belts and go after whoever the AEW Women's Champion is, which right now is Tekla. I don't know. And KB, hi. So, he says Ronda came in to set up a Shayna debut before All In, but with Toni Storm gone, it's not going to work. And also, I think Shayna Baszler is signed to WWE in a backstage capacity. I have heard stories that she's working on the creative side with NXT. She's also a producer. So I don't know about that. Yeah, and Universal is saying the same thing, pretty much saying the same thing I'm saying. Nope, Shayna's working for NXT, and that's pretty much it. And thank you, KB, for confirming that. It says Mercedes contract doesn't end until 2028. Get back to this, and I'm going to address the Mercedes thing. I know Mercedes had issues with Ronda Rousey while in WWE, but you know what? If this is just a one-off thing with Ronda, then I think Mercedes is okay. I think she's okay. So I think in terms of Mercedes, I think that storyline with her losing all her belts and then going after whoever the AEW Women's World Champion is, I think that storyline has been set in stone for a long time, and that's how it's going to be. Now I'm going to get off this and get to something serious. As I don't like discussing politics. I don't like discussing war, but this was another one of those unavoidable subjects that ended up coming up, and I thought I should say something about it. We know WrestleMania 43, and there's some other premium live events that are going to be taking place in Saudi Arabia. What did I get this time? Oh, Universal. Mercedes is 2 titles down, has to drop all of them before she signs with. Okay, I know you are stuck in the WWE thing, Universal. I'm going to be very honest. That's 3 belts. Because last time I looked at my Twitter, which was before I went live, was she's down to 3 belts because I think she just lost. I think it was Denmark. Someone like KB or anyone in the chat can let me know about that. I know it was 3 belts. And Universal, I'm going to be, look, you saw KB's comment above, and I'm going to put that back up. Her contract doesn't end May 26, 2026. I don't know where you got that information from. But as far as I know, and this is what I've constantly been hearing, it's 2028. That is when Mercedes' contract with AEW expires. So I'm going to put KB's comment back up. Yeah, 2028. So that's what he said. If you're disputing me on that one, no. Yeah, she did sign 2024, but I think it was she might have signed an extension as far as I know. So I'm going to get back to my subject. Please, Universal, I'm going to tell you this right now, and I'm trying to be nice about it. Please do not bring this subject up again. I need to get back to what I'm originally doing. I'm not being mean or anything like that, but I need to get back to the topic I'm talking about. So let's move on from the whole Mercedes thing, because this is just going to cause an argument, and I'm going to get very angry about it. And I really do not want to do that on the show. I hope you understand that. So I'm going to get back to what I'm originally talking about. This is what I'm talking about, and we're going to move on to the subject. Like I said, I don't like talking about politics. I don't even like talking about war, but there is the possibility, because of the conflicts going on in the Middle East, particularly with the U.S. and Israel coming together to go after Iran, there is a possibility WrestleMania 43 may get moved out of Saudi Arabia. We know it doesn't that WrestleMania doesn't happen until next year. It's not going to happen until next year, but there is a possibility. Clash of Champions, which is tentatively scheduled for, I think, this June, might be one of the shows that gets moved out of Saudi Arabia. Where does it go? I would have thought if the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is willing, they will let WWE move it to maybe an American location. Possibly, I would say, I'm trying to think where WWE hasn't had a PLA in a long time, or maybe they could go into Canada to. If I had to guess American city, it would have to be maybe. Holy shit! You could do Detroit, Ford Field in Detroit. You could do. This is hard. Figure out where this places can go. So, but you can move Clash of Champions to either back here in the States. You could do it in Mexico. You could do it somewhere else. But other events, they're scheduled for Saudi Arabia. The Clash of Champions is the one that is in the biggest jeopardy. I don't know how long this conflict with Iran is going to keep going. But it's getting pretty dangerous. And I think for the safety of everybody involved with WWE, from the crew, the wrestlers, the producers, everybody involved, even those who helped put the ring together, I wouldn't hold any event in Saudi Arabia right now until this whole thing simmers down. Oh, pardon me. But, oh boy, what did I get? KB, yes, I would like that. WrestleMania 43 in Miami would be fantastic, but I think they gotta fix up Hard Rock Stadium and in Miami down there. Hell, that would be fun. And so this would just be so petty. Oh no! Wembley. Okay. That would be petty. I agree. That would be petty. Oh my God. But yeah, let's just hope the whole conflict in Iran and the Middle East gets settled. And we'll see what happens with WrestleMania 43 plus all these other PLEs that are scheduled to take place in Saudi. We'll see what happens on that one. Next one. Yes. TNA and iHeartMedia. I'm a big iHeartRadio person. I listen to a lot of that stuff. And I'm kind of surprised TNA decided to do this, but I think it's cool. Now they're teaming up with such a massive platform like iHeartMedia, one of the top multimedia platforms out there besides SiriusXM satellite radio. I mean, that is massive, massive platform. But TNA doing this, it's a multi-platform collaboration. Oh boy. We're going back to the other. It's an even trade. WrestleMania 43 in London, New Orleans gets All In at 20. Oh. Hey, KB, I think we know someone who would actually be pretty psyched if All In ends up going to New Orleans in 2027. If you know, you know. Get back to my topic here. TNA and iHeart collaborating. It's multi-platform, and it's crazy when you think about it. Because I didn't honestly think, I didn't think TNA was big enough to even land this kind of deal, but they're big enough. According to the tweet, they've announced new multimedia collaboration will integrate iHeartMedia. I'm having a hard time reading right now. That will integrate iHeartMedia across TNA's premium live events, weekly television programming, digital platforms, and fan experiences, while tapping into iHeartMedia's expansive nationwide audio network to engage fans across broadcasts, live events, and digital media in new and dynamic ways. I think this is great for them. I think this is a step forward in the right direction. They're really starting, and since this is probably a separate thing, separate from their collaboration with WWE, I think it's a big one for them because like I said, it's definitely a step in the right direction for TNA because they really have needed to take a step in the right direction with all the bullshit that's been going on in that company. And I know not everyone has been a fan of Thursday Night Impact on AMC, even though AMC is a channel that's in more households than Access TV was. But I love this idea. I mean, I think there's a good number of people. I love iHeartRadio, and imagine they had like a TNA channel on iHeartRadio. That would be so freaking awesome. I love that idea. Now, KB mentioned petty, word he used in this comment I'm showing you. I think this is pretty petty, but it makes sense. WWE decided to announce their own partnership with Front Office Sports, and I got to give a shout out to the fearless leader of this network, Nick Morgeson, for bringing this to my attention, because I wouldn't have known about this. I absolutely would not have known about this. So he sent me this, and the tweet is from someone at LT Gets Political. It was from a response to Brandon Thurston, who announcing WWE's press release announcing a new partnership with the sports business news media outlet Front Office Sports to, quote, collaborate on the creative development and execution of storytelling projects surrounding marquee premium live events. And LT Gets Political says, I realize professional wrestling isn't sport in the strictest sense, but this deal is a great example of the death of sports journalism openly co-opted. Uh-oh. Oh, yeah, TNA is quietly doing good work right now, KB. Absolutely they are. They are doing really good right now. I've been impressed. Definitely been impressed. But back to this. This does seem petty, but look, it does seem petty in the sense that WWE decides to announce this after TNA announced their deal with iHeartMedia. Front Office Sports, a lot of followers, that sort of thing. And it's not the first time Front Office Sports has done that sort of thing. They recently announced a deal with the National Women's Soccer League, which is crazy. But, you know, this seems, I don't know, the content partnership, it just seems like something that, I don't know. According to Brandon Thurston, he goes, Front Office Sports happens to be the outlet. We freelanced a report breaking the WWE corporate office. Yeah, I'm not going to get into that. It's involving the Janelle Grant lawsuit. I'm not going to get into it. There were other stuff that's coming in and all that other stuff. So it's kind of, I don't know if this is going to be beneficial to WWE because, I mean, how many more partnerships do they honestly need to announce anyway? I have no idea. Now, I mentioned Toni Storm at the beginning of this show when I'm doing my Revolution review, and I mentioned Dynamite. Yeah, it looks like she's taking time off due to injuries. I know there's speculation she could be pregnant. She is married to Juice Robinson, who's also part of AEW. They've been married for a few years. I mean, I don't know if they're, who knows? And of course, the picture of her lying with blood coming out of the back of her head and a wine bottle, flowers, that's now on that image is now on a t-shirt. Check shopaew.com if you want to buy it. Sorry, shameless plug. This is pretty much something that I was honestly surprised about because I was going, wait, I don't know. She seemed to be giving it her all in every match anyway, including the one against Marina Shafir at Revolution. So that's the one thing. That's definitely one thing. So there's that. But I don't know if she is injured or if she is pregnant. That's her and Juice Robinson's decision to announce that to the public or not. It is not for us to assume. It definitely is not for us to assume. Now, back in the AEW realm, now this was another surprising of court filings revealing that back in 2023, when WWE was up for sale, Tony Khan decided to see if he would buy it. He was interested in buying it. And this tweet came up and I'm like, whoa. Another one of those. Another Nick Morgeson thing that he brought. Another one from Nick Morgeson that he brought to my attention. I'm like, oh, goddamn. So he did place a bid to buy WWE back in 2023 when the company was up for sale. And ironically, it's from a company that he backed called Base 10. And they placed a bid, but, Endeavor ultimately won the bid. And, of course, TKO was created as a result of it. I think all of us know what we'd say to TKO. Fuck you, TKO. You ain't shit. Greedy bastards. Oh, Billy, how are you? Hello, Billy. You're checking out the show from North Carolina? I hope you enjoy it. This is getting interesting. But back to my topic here. Yeah, I honestly was surprised to hear about this because I wasn't sure. It turns out the merger and acquisition process is actually the subject of the ongoing shareholder lawsuit. And the fact Tony Khan gets mentioned in this because of a company he backed wanted to make a bid for this. This is crazy. It was originally So the complaint, originally filed in the Delaware Chancery Court in November 2023, has recently been redacted. Answers, legal responses from defendants in each paragraph of the complaint have also been unredacted, means we're going to be getting the goods here on that. So it basically talked about, in addition to TK's company and Endeavor, the bidders were Formula One parent Liberty Media and the private equity firm KKR. Liberty and KKR were widely understood to have made offers based on prior reporting and public findings. But this confirms both their participation, which bid prices correspond to each. Tony Khan's base 10 bid, however, is public for the first time. Now, that's very shocking. And I'm sure has led to some people asking the question, oh my God, what would have happened if TK won the bid? He would have owned WWE, you know? I'm sure he would have been facing a lot of brick walls and like resistance from talent and things like that. Because, you know, the creative ideas and creative vision that he may have had for WWE might have clashed with what a lot of the wrestlers would have wanted, or some of those wrestlers would have actually been pretty happy to work with him and would have definitely been more of a creative collaboration. But who knows? I don't like to get into that sort of stuff, those what ifs, because, you know, we're never going to know what's going to happen. All right, I'm going to get off this and I'm going to get into, well, a comment first off. Oh, yeah, WWE storylines are stale now? Yeah, I mean, they are stale. I agree with that. There's a good number of them that are stale. But I'm going to get into something fun. So here we go. If you love American Gladiators, or if you're me and you remember the original show and everything, these gladiators, you have like Laser, Ice, Tower, Saber, Nitro. You remember those people. Siren, those types of people. Yeah, and then, you know, you watch the original show, or you watch the 2008 version, ran on NBC for 2 seasons. Well, the show is coming back. As you can see, The Miz is hosting American Gladiators on Prime Video, and the premiere date was released. It's April 17th. The list of former gladiators, there are definitely some individuals here, and I'm going to pull up their names right now, actually. I'm going to pull the name of the gladiators, which should be interesting. Is there are some individuals, if I say their names, then you're probably going to know who I'm talking about, probably. So you get down here. Go to the gladiators. You got various individuals here. Like one name, well, this is familiar as a Kaylee Latimer. You may know her as Camille. She's in AEW. She's a former NWA Women's World Champion. Her gladiator name's going to be Hurricane. It's not me saying it. It's on Wikipedia. There's other individuals like Aaron Bugenheisen. You know, as Rick Boogs. Yeah. Shredding. I still remember Pat McAfee saying that here, and when he heard Boogs on electric guitar playing Shinsuke Nakamura's theme. But he's been out of WWE for a while. He's been mainly on YouTube. He's going to be there. Another name, Jesse Goddard. He's a former 2-time TNA World Tag Team Champion and part of the Bromans. And his gladiator name revealed is going to be Steel. Oh, man. I hope they have the original Gladiators theme song, but I keep thinking, here's what I think they should do, KB. For the theme song, they should hire Mikey Ruckus. Yes, the musical genius of AEW, Mikey Ruckus, should do a remix of the Gladiators theme song, really make it rock, really make it badass, and then release the damn thing on Spotify, and then it's probably going to get like billions of streams. I don't know. So good. But yeah, I'm going to get back to, and of course, another one is familiar to those of us AEW fans, of course, is Wardlow. Now, his gladiator name, not announced. Ironically, they filmed both seasons of Gladiators that were ordered by Prime Video. And then, of course, it came back. We know what happened with poor Wardlow. He got hurt again. He's been out, but he did all the Gladiator stuff before he came back. But this is some of the Gladiators that, at least I mentioned, that I know of. There's a lot of, you got fitness coaches, CrossFit athletes, other types of people, and even someone named Jessica Rodan, a former Ohio Valley Wrestling Women's Champion. That's, wow. She's going to be there. So there's a good amount of a good amount of people who have who hold that championship and all that other stuff. So that's definitely something. So that's actually a very, very cool thing. So I'm looking forward to Gladiators. I know I'm probably going to watch it, but if you have to wait for it, if you're waiting for April 17th, they do have all of the original Gladiators and the Hulk Hogan hosted American Gladiators on Prime Video. You can watch it anytime you want. So another big piece of news, and well, I'll get to a comment first. So American Gladiators. Yes, KB. So American Gladiators is the first WWE AEW Forbidden Door. And there were some rumors going around. The Miz had some issues. Particularly, you had Camille and Wardlow there as gladiators, and he might have had an issue with that. Take it with a grain of salt. Take it with an absolute total grain of salt. Because that was a rumor. I'm sure Miz got along well with a good number of people. Now I got to get to another topic. Here we go. There's big news. Yes, the Worm, the man, the myth, the legend, the legendary king of rebounds, Dennis Rodman, is going to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. But then again, it doesn't sound surprising because I remember WCW. I remember him, making special appearances with the NWO, Hollywood Hogan. Ironically, I sadly still remember the match. He and Hogan teaming up against Diamond Dallas Page and the mailman Karl Malone. The thing about it is Malone looked like he was had put in the work. I did make this comment on a show I used to be a part of that. It was being a pro wrestler was something Malone had always wanted to be before he really turned his attention to basketball. It was like something on his bucket list, and getting to work with Hogan and Diamond Dallas Page, I'm sure for Malone was a dream come true. For Rodman, probably publicity, but I'm not going to get into that. But, he's done the NWO stuff and everything. Say what you want about the man, but, they had to have a celebrity in the WWE Hall of Fame, and he just happened to be the one who's going to get inducted. So we'll see what happens. I don't honestly know how I feel about it. I remember watching the guy playing from days with the Pistons, and then him pulling off shenanigans with the Spurs, and then obviously he behaved himself well enough on the Bulls. I think he just did not want to piss off Michael Jordan, but hey, that's a completely different conversation for a different day. I just want to say hello to the 114 people watching. Hey, everybody. I hope everyone's enjoying the show. And this next thing, we're getting, I'm just going to say this right now. We're getting closer to 4,000 watch hours. I think we're at the 2,100 watch hour mark. And, keep watching all this great content we have going on. Like I said, we got all kinds of stuff. We got Press Row here. I'll put right there, youtube.com/ETB network. You check out Press Row, all that other stuff to help us get to those watch hours. I just thought, why did I do that? Damn it. Damn it. I didn't mean to do that, by the way. I should know better. I've been working on this for a good amount of time, so. Okay, I'm being a total ass goofball right now. So I'm going to get to probably the one part now. This also ties it into Revolution. He is my wrestler of the week. Yes, Jungle Jack Perry, your new AEW national champion. This guy, we kind of know his backstory. His dad, Luke Perry, was on 90210, done shows, movies. Fun fact, check out Luke Perry in the movie Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the precursor to the TV series, but check him out in that one. Jack Perry's been doing this thing as a wrestler for years. There was a clip came out so sweet, was him at SummerSlam with his father at what is now Crypto.com Arena, is now the Staples Center. Sorry, I'm having a bad hair day, which is why I'm wearing a hat. Back to Jack Perry. This was definitely a full circle moment for him because he gets to compete in a building that he used to watch wrestling events with his dad. I'm sure it was an excellent bonding experience for them. And it really, I think, sparked an interest in wrestling for him that he decided to pursue it as a full-time career. And that's what he's done. What's sad is his father never got to see him compete in AEW because sadly Luke Perry had passed away before Jack Perry stepped inside an AEW ring. But just to see, he won, of course, the Blackjack Battle Royal at Revolution. Did kind of spill over into the main card a little bit, but you know what? It was definitely worth it. I mean, Jack's been going through like the evolution. He's kind of gone through an evolution. He's been Jungle Boy. He's won tag team gold with Luchasaurus as the Jurassic Express. And, you know, he's been a heel. He's been a TNT champion. He's been the FTW champion. I'm not going to get into the whole all-in thing saying is real glass, Crimea River sort of thing. I'm not going to get into it. Yeah, you don't need to ask. I'm not going to get into it, though. But he's just grown and evolved and just done all kinds of, I think he's just grown up. He's matured. I will put it to you that way. Him holding that national title after he eliminated Ricochet, and just seeing the emotion on his face, and then him go to hug his beautiful mom and his beautiful sister who were in the crowd. I'm sure he had like a good number of friends in the crowd as well at Staples Center. I'm still going to call it Staples Center. I'm not going to call it Crypto.com Arena. Don't come at me for that. It's still Staples Center to me, God damn it. But no, Jack, he keeps growing, evolving as a champion. I hope his reign as national champion is a good one. I really hope so. And TK, please book him right. You know you got something good here with Jack Perry. Don't blow it. But Jack Perry, Wrestler of the Week. Now this one, you know, I kind of wanted to do this to this individual for a while because that's right, it's a woman, really has been getting to me lately. Hey, bitch, Miss Glamour, Miss Woman from Hell. Blake Monroe, real name Mariah Maymead. I get you're a heel. I get you're like, glamour is forever. But you are the case of, oh my God, how have the mighty have fallen. Madam, you started off more as a valet type, and you've ended up, you started off as a ring announcer, and you transitioned to wrestling, and you proved to be pretty damn good at it. You ended up going to Stardom. You've been in different indie promotions, and then you come to AEW, starting off as a Toni Storm fangirl, showcasing your stuff. And then you enter into probably one of AEW's most defining rivalries between you and Timeless Toni Storm. Was it on the level of, say, Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland? Pretty close. Was at the level of like all time across all wrestling promotions, like Gail Kim versus Awesome Kong, Trish Stratus versus Lita. Many different rivalries out there. I'd say it's pretty close. And then, you know, your AEW Women's World Champion. You had a good reign until you lose the title, and then you and Toni Storm have that beautiful Hollywood ending match. Ended with the two of you on top of one on top of the other. Please get your minds out of the gutter on this one. I'm not talking about sex. All right, stop. But Mariah or Blake, I'll call you. I don't care what I call you. I might switch off on the names here. But no, you used AEW as a stepping stone because you wanted to go to WWE. Okay, you achieved that. Great, beautiful. But you ended up, before that big Hollywood ending match, Toni Storm cut a beautiful promo on you saying people will like you, but they'll never love you. You'll have a good career, not a great career. So basically, in a sense, if Toni Storm had the ability to predict the future, I think that's what she did. Yeah, you came into NXT with some fanfare and all that good stuff, but let's be honest. You win the NXT Women's North American title, and because of a screw-up, you lose the belt to Thea Hale because you didn't get your shoulder up in time after the ref counted to 3. Okay? This is where it gets ridiculous. Since you've been in NXT, I'm sorry, Mariah or Blake, whoever you are. I've not been impressed. I'm sorry. Do I think you were better in AEW? Yes, I do, because clearly you had more opportunity. I mean, shit, if you had stayed in AEW, you could have had feuds against Statlander, Mercedes Moné. You could have feuded with, I don't know. You could have feuded with literally any woman on the roster. Heck, you could have had feuds in Ring of Honor against people like Red Velvet, Deonna Purrazzo. I mean, shit, Mariah, you could have beaten Athena. You could have been Ring of Honor Women's World Champion. But bitch, you used AEW as a stepping stone to WWE. You got your wish. You won a title. Was it the women's title? No. But holy fuck. The reason why you're in the Roast of Wrestlers segment, Blake or Mariah, whichever, I'll just stick to calling you Mariah. The reason why you're in this, I think you clearly want to go after Tatum Paxley, and you even did the whole Kane thing of dragging her down to hell. Bitch, that is lame and outdated. I'm sorry. Who the hell does that anymore? You shouldn't be allowed to do that unless your name is Kane. Sorry, not sorry. Bitch, you may be the glamour. You may be drop dead gorgeous. You may turn men's heads, but let's face it. I think Toni Storm was right about you. You're going to have a good career. People will like you, but they will not love you. I think she was right. I mean, I know she said that in character, but I think there was definitely some truth to that promo, and good for you, Toni Storm, for saying it like it is, even though you were in character when you did it. This is like I keep saying, Blake Monroe, Mariah May, you have not been impressive at all. Not as far as I'm concerned. This is just based on me, what I've seen. I hope to God, if you challenge for the NXT Women's North American title against Tatum Paxley, I hope she beats you and drags you and stuffs you in hell and leaves you there. Because as far as I'm concerned, not impressed. Definitely not impressed by you, Blake Monroe or Mariah May. Oh, that is going to be it for today's show. There's your ticker. You can check out BTR. You can check out ETB. Follow me. Don't be weird about it. Just be nice. But there's that. Of course, go follow BTR at BTR ETB on social media. And of course, I know I posted this. I know I brought this banner back up before, but I'm gonna bring it up again as youtube.com/ETB network. Check out all the good stuff. Of course, Gridiron Guru is coming up in about 17 minutes because it's 3:43 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So check out Grant, Michael, and Ben for Gridiron Gurus. You can also check out all our other content as well. You can check out Press Row with Nick and Callan. Hopefully, a new episode of Emptying the Bracket if you're a March Madness fan. You can check out Will Charlton, noteworthy in the NCAA. God damn. Ugh. You also check out ETB Lounge. I think it's going to be a super episode on Monday. Hosted by Nick DiMartino. Should be a hell of a lot of fun. So, get out of that one. So, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you to the 117 to 118 people actually watching this show. Thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you folks next week with a new episode of Between the Ropes. Later.